Hey, what's up, y'all? It is your boy DonJuan, and I am back for another Unapologetically review. Y'all ready? Let's go. So, I am back for another Unapologetically review for episode 6 of SWV Xscape, the Queens of R&B. This is the final episode, y'all. I'm tired. I'm gonna be honest. The final episode of Xscape at SWV's, the Queens of R&B, is here, and we finally get to see if they made it to the stage, how does that work, and all of those good things, you guys. I know y'all tired too. So y'all ready to see what's gonna happen? Are we gonna be able to make it work? All of those good things. So, we're here. It begins where it ends. I had done a previous video where I talked about that we should have Rocky and Tasha just be quiet. They should just be quiet. That was just my professional opinion, to have them be quiet. No diss to them, but they should be quiet. No talking. Right now, it's not a good look. It's not something I would advise you of. I didn't address certain things in the video at that time that were brought up. But since we are unapologetically speaking on it, today I will address certain things. We talk about the text messages that are allegedly from a promoter that talks about money that he was paying Rocky to get all 4 of the girls for his set of shows. To give some story, we already had done shows with this said promoter. We had already been doing shows with the said promoter. I know the promoter. I have the promoter's phone number. The ladies have the promoter's phone number. We had already done shows with this said promoter. And so the relationship was there. We had done shows probably over the last year with this promoter. And so when it came to everyone's attention about this, you know, we got the text messages because we had heard rumblings of someone getting a kickback. I have a copy of the text messages myself, directly from that side, not from somebody giving it, directly from the promoter's side. I have text messages myself that are, they're the same text message almost. On the text message, the number that they were coming from was not in the phone. So when you look, if you saw the last 4 or 5 numbers, you would go to the person who they were supposedly being sent to, which is Rocky, and you could see it was his phone number. Like, they didn't have them even locked in. So in the text message, it does talk about the money that was that was given for Xscape, and it talks about Tasha knowing. I am going to say I don't know if Tasha knew. I'm going to say I don't know that. That's my opinion. I don't know if Tasha knew. I think it's very much plausible and feasible that somebody can be in a marriage and you not know the things that are happening or things that are said. I think it's very much feasible that if you look at the guy that we saw in this clip, in this video, doing that and looking slimy, then he probably lies and says things like such no, and I talked to her and blah, blah, blah. And that's just probably part of his game. That's what I can believe. After seeing the confessional, it kind of changed my mind a little bit because Tasha was sticking with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, if people bring shows, this is what happened. So with Xscape, let me just say something that deflects on what they are saying, and that says that is not true. If you go and look, Xscape did a show with Mary J. Blige for the Strength of a Woman. The Xscape show that they did with Mary J. Blige, Strength of a Woman tour, came from myself. I know the management team of Mary. I had said, hey, this would be this good idea for them to work there. They're like, we're doing this. They reached out, hey, we want to do it. All 4 girls only. I'm not doing 3. Just make sure we're good on that. And I'm like, so what do? I pass that to their representative. The reason we pass things to their representative is so we ensure that nobody is getting a kickback. So we ensure that nobody can feel a certain kind of way. DonJuan, works on Candy's side. So, that can be kind of, don't have him do it. Like we try to streamline this, and with them coming back together, that was part of the prerequisite for us. Like, we want to make sure that nobody is feeling some kind of way, that it can't be ever looked at and it look like any shiesty business. So even on that instance, that was something that was thrown over. When they did the Great Escape tour, they met with other promoters. They did all of this. The person who does it actually did the Dungeon tour with us, a long-standing relationship. Candy actually called them to have them do the tour. Then they threw them over to their management at the time, which was Mona Scott Young, and then she handled the deal. Did Candy get a kickback? No. Did I get a kickback? No. People call me. They have a show coming up with the three of them. The person is a friend of mine. They called me. I threw it to the representative. That's just the streamlining. And it's always done like that since we returned because of the issues that have previously been had in this group where people have been said to have gotten kickbacks. And it made people, like, I don't know that I can trust you. So what they're saying is incorrect. I don't know what they do when we're not around. If they do Xscape 3, they do it that way. I don't know. When it comes to Xscape, we have not done it that way, and it's been strictly to make sure that we never have an issue with someone getting that. Because if that happens, then you're going to be like, oh, I'm only sending this person a job because I'm going to get more money on the side, blah, blah, blah. And then the manager still has to take a percentage. Then they pay something else on the top. Like, it just, it's weird business. Now, if an outside source says, hey, I brought this, blah, 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 this is what we need, and you negotiate something like that in the beginning, then that's how that works. But internally, with everybody having different people that may represent them, that's not how it went. So when they say that in their confessional, that is some bullshit. When they say that in their confessional, that is not true. That's not true. And it was like, what are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about, because there are definitely instances where stuff happens and nobody is getting a kickback or doing a side deal because I have integrity. I'm not shiesty. I don't do things like that. You can say a lot of things about me and you may not like me, but I don't steal from people. I don't do shiesty kind of business. It's not bad business dealings like that. I don't do that. So the expectation is that everybody that is around each other's team doesn't do that. So when they go and they leave out of that room, people are like, well, Tamika sitting there with her sister. It's a business thing at that point. She's not really mad at her sister about she's just like, I need you to see that it's business. They end up being able to go to LA. You're able to see, everybody packing. You see Coco packing with her son. She's like, she don't want to lose her TSA pre-check. So that's why she's not going to fight. That's interesting. But everybody should be growing and understanding like, hey, you don't agree all the time. Taj is wanting her, son to come with her on the trip. I think all of those things happen. You see that they started rehearsals for the show, but they still don't know all of the transitions. They're still working on that. But we're making it to Ontario. We get to Ontario. It's the trip here and everybody's like, yeah, we're ready to just get this done. At that point, you see Tasha is staying at another location. All the other ladies are staying at hotels. We're all together. This was probably one of the first times I had been around everybody since they had been filming the show. I strictly stayed away while they were filming this show, meaning I didn't go to the tapings and all, let y'all kind of handle that part. But yeah, so we're here ready to get the show part. I see Tasha and Rocky having their moment. They have the chef over there, who I think the chef also is the videographer for her or something. I don't know. It's something weird. And, Tasha's whole team, she has a whole separate entourage as far as everybody else. You see, we're on the Sprinter together, except Tiny came late, but, we're all in there together. She has a whole separate team. That's to each their own. We get to Ontario and it's trying to figure out what this show looks like in these transitions. And that rehearsal was very intense, y'all. I'm going to be honest. That rehearsal was long. It was intense. It was the first time they were going to be on the stage. They had limited time to be on that stage. So with any of them, the most time on that stage, they had never checked that sound on that stage. They had never checked the transitions, the graphics, the dance movements to space it out on that stage. So they needed the most time they could have on that stage. With having two groups, it was harder to kind of balance that, I believe. I believe it was very much harder for people to balance it. Steven was working to do it. What you see is the music director is there. They don't even credit him. He's standing beside Steven. He's the one that's working on the musical transitions. He came from SWV side. Each one of them have their respective DJ. Then we have Steven out there who's working. They have a sound guy who's out there who's working. I'm actually standing out there with the sound guy. Usually that's how it is with most Xscape shows. I'm out there with the sound guy like, hey, that may not be right. What are we doing here with the blends and all of that? That is not a question. If you go to any Xscape show, everybody... understand. So I think even when we get into the gist of it, they're trying to figure out the, things. And SWV is I guess, upset because they feel like they're not spending enough time on the stage. It's not working out. I get it. I'm not, if that's how you feel. It comes to a point where they're talking about the medley. And if you go back, I would love for you guys to go back to the episode where they're talking about the set list. There is a screen grab going around, and it shows how they do the Understanding Week, and they were having that whole back and forth. That song is really not even the last song. There is a medley song that comes after that, if you even look on that set list. That was part of how we were trying to figure out the integration. That part is an argument, but it shouldn't be an argument because neither one is really the last song. It's supposed to be a cohesive song. So when they get on that stage and we're talking about it, the medley song is kind of being thrown out where they're like not going to do the medley song. And they're like, oh, on maybe Is My Living in Vain, we're going to come out and we're going to sing Is My Living in Vain and then just talk about women's empowerment. And that's kind of going to be the integration. Two parts to this. Coco talks about them not doing gospel. So Coco is over in the corner and she's like, I'm ready to fight. How they portray it in this episode is not how it happened. And I will go on record and say that. When Coco made that statement, the girls have in-ears in, they're on the stage. Coco is over there to the side. She makes the statement and the girls and nobody on stage could hear because it was very low how she said it. Her mic just happened to pick it up. Us in the sound booth and in the house heard her. Nobody on that stage was able to hear her when she said it. So when they do the whole and all them looking crazy, big ups for them making Coco look like she sunned everybody. But that's not really what happened. She did express those things. It was very much heard. I heard her standing in the house. The people on stage never heard her. So then we go on because Coco was like, we don't do that in our set, but they were, trying to figure out Is My Living in Vain to kind of make it. And Taj was trying to figure out how to hopefully integrate it more because it felt kind of separate. Then we talk about how they talk about the Is My Living in Vain moment. And they were just saying like, we're going to get up here and say, hey, all these people are women empowered. And I'm like, that's corny. I did say that. At that point, I get up and go up there and talk to Taj to say, hey, I'm saying we need to figure out something that feels a little bit better. Y'all are too big to just be like, these people empowered us and have that moment. It can be better. It needs to be cohesive, but it can be better. She does at one point say prior to that, who's bossing us around, not to me, but to someone else, because they did have a moment where they felt like they were being bossed around. Wasn't me. I wasn't a part of that. But they did edit it like that. Then they do so shut the F up. If she said that on stage, I didn't hear her. Me and Taj never had an interaction like that. I said it. She was like, who said that? I, of course, me, go and say, I said it, blah, blah, blah. They got me sitting there like, I can't believe she said that. It wouldn't have been a back and forth, but I'd have been like, this is what I'm talking about. I'm going to explain to you why. Why I need to be a part of that conversation. I'm going to tell you that I'm a part of the conversation because I'm a part of what happens with the success of these groups. So I don't have to get involved in the back and forth of what you guys are talking about outside of there. But I want you both to look amazing and go from there. I didn't have a back and forth. I didn't get sunned if that's how they would like to portray it. People are in the comments and I'm going to just address this part. I've seen people when it happened, people are like, yeah, they need such to just shut up. They need such to always women's business. The business of what happens on that stage and the business of how it happens as far as the business is that's my lane. It's business. So to any of you who feel like I shouldn't have a comment, then maybe you need to be around weak men. Maybe you need to be around men who don't handle business. Because just because a man has a comment does not mean it's weak or they're inserting themselves in women's business. So in 2023, I would like for y'all to stop using that. A guy can have a comment or a guy can speak his mind and then not be considered in women's business. Guys have stronger personalities than women a lot of times. So it's not considered that. So I think that that's very crazy. And then you also go with this, the help can't say blah, blah, blah. I'm a grown, almost 40-year-old man who has degrees, who has run multi-million-dollar companies, who owns homes, who does all kinds of shit. So I am not a slave or an indentured servant. Nobody can tell me, no, don't speak, don't comment, don't go on. Nobody tells me that. And in what world do y'all think that is? Y'all live in a very mystical world. I want you to leave your work or you to have your boss to be like, nope, you can't say that. you're going to look and be like, how they going to tell me what I can't say? No, they can tell you what you can't say to their customers if you have that. Or they can tell you how, hey, don't handle my business like that. But as far as if I'm a part of a creative process, I can say that. So I would prefer for everybody, please tell these people, I'm not a slave. I can say what I want and nobody dictates it. This is my channel. You know, it goes to my business account. Nobody can dictate that. So in the world of 2023, please stop using certain things as if those are things that guys are very strong business-minded people and opinionated people, and they can have opinions without it being, oh, they the B word, they girl, they inserting. That sounds stupid to me. That sounds very dumb and ignorant to me. Because on the opposite side, what if I say to the ladies, every time you have an opinion, quit acting like a man. Quit inserting your stuff in man business. You would say that I'm against women and I'm not a feminist, or that I have a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you're male, you're very egocentric, you know, blah, blah, blah. You're like all of those things. And that's not okay. So please, in 2023, can we figure out how to work on that? Because I don't think that we kind of show our ignorance. We kind of show our ignorance in the fact that we think that guys can't have certain comments, or guys can't say certain things because that shows femininity, or guys can't speak because if they speak, they say that's women's business. So are we equal? We have women's and men. Are we equal? We have equal business, or do we have women's and men's business? Now, if you're going back and forth with a woman, I wasn't going back and forth with Taj. You know, I love Taj. Let's just make that clear. Then that's totally different. Have I done things where I probably shouldn't have went back and forth? I've said this and addressed this before. I have done and probably had one moment where I felt like I probably should not have said anything more. And I look at that and I regret that for myself. And that was on the Real Housewives. We were outside. Was it things said that were said at that point when I was outside with all of the ladies? Yes, that you guys did not see on camera. But I do regret having the back and forth like that. But I don't regret saying my opinion in any instance. Continuing forward, we're trying to figure out this performance. They finally, they get to rehearsing. The Xscape ladies are dancing around, having a good time, trying to figure out how to make the best of these ladies in this performance. The outfits come together. They figure out how to kind of mesh it and be able to perform and do what they do. And the audience loved it. Like that show literally was thousands of people. It was about 4,000 to 5,000 people. They only put it on sale like a week and something before. So this shows the magnitude of what it could totally be if they join forces together and all of the above, y'all. And I think that it looked great. The sound guy was really great. Like it sounded good. People seem to have been enjoying themselves. Like I think all of that came together despite all of the things behind the stage, to be honest. I don't feel like SWV was able to bury the hatchet as much. So I feel like parts where it could have been a little bit more branded together, they didn't, always connect with it. Coco probably didn't sing as much, like even All in My Vein. Like Coco's a gospel singer. Coco can blow. Coco could have went and kind of integrated that, but she didn't want to. She felt a certain kind of way. I think Lily and Taj definitely tried more to do that. And overall, I think it came together good. When you see the show and you're able to see like they were doing sound check, Tasha comes late with her crew. They're fixing her hair while she's standing there. Even Lily's like, Diana Ross is here. I think it's a very interesting take. Once they get off stage and they're trying to figure out who would do it again, Coco's like, no, she wouldn't do it again. Lily, and everybody's like, yeah, I would. And everybody's like, yeah, it wasn't, we got through the parts of it, like uncomfortable. I think what they say in business is if you're doing a deal, if you're doing something, if both parties walk away and are not completely happy, it's probably a fair or even deal. If one party walks away and there's more happy than the other, it's probably not fair. So we finished that and we're trying to figure out if they could do this again, if they could go on tour together, if they could figure this out. And then even Tamika wants to address the things with her sister. Tamika wants to talk to her sister and try to figure out how do they move forward. And her sister don't talk outside of the Xscape business. So she's like, this is the moment to be able to talk. Like, we're here, let's do it. I don't think Tasha wants to have the conversation on camera. I think Tasha was like, no, we're not talking. We'll talk another time. And that's kind of how it is. Sometimes a lot of stuff with Xscape continues on and they don't talk about it. So Tamika's like, what are we doing? And it blows up. I was there when it blew up, obviously. They didn't show that. I stood there and hugged Tamika when she first started, crying after, like me and Candy were there hugging her. Of course, they're not going to show that. I got to look like I'm just standing around looking like a da-dun. If not, like, it annoys the shit out of me sometimes, if you want me to be honest, y'all, how every moment that is like real and where it doesn't portray me in a certain light, they don't, yeah, that's a whole nother story on how I feel about that. But, you know, those moments happen. I think it was good. They were able to see that SWV, they got those plaques last year, so they were able to show their plaques. Xscape plaques just came in, so I think that was a good moment for them. It was able to show SWV in the light of, like, you know, they have it together and all of those things. Xscape, you know, they're a work in progress and they figure it out, but, you know, a lot that goes behind the scenes. You get the update on how they're performing as a trio, which the dates I have posted, and they've been posting they have like 10 dates that are coming up in the next like 6 weeks, and then some more that are coming later. It says SWV is going on tour with Jodeci. I don't know if that's still happening, but that's what the show update is. And Tasha and Tamika still have not spoken as far as I know. The Queens of R&B season 1, episode 6, the finale is here, y'all. That is the end of the show. Overall, I will say things that have come from the show that I think was great. I think that Tamika is getting a moment where people can see Tamika can sing. Tamika has a voice and she's able to get that. Unfortunately, her and her sister are not on the same page, but that's kind of how this went. As far as the groups, I think people got a chance to see a lot more of, you know, Taj and Lily and Coco's personality. I think that after this show, they have been looking amazing. You know, shout out to the stylist Jay Bolin on the amazing looks that he's done with them. I think it kind of made them be like, okay, we could switch it up a little bit, but still be SWV. So I don't think that was a bad thing. I think it allowed Xscape to kind of see we could do this as a threesome for real. We've done it in the past, but, you know, like the show must go on, and kind of brought them as a sisterhood together. And it gave you an interlook in people and their lives in this business, and being able to navigate it all. And it's not always perfect and glamorous, and you were able to see that. So that makes them the Queens of R&B. And I hopefully after this show, some of the tensions and the things that happen after this show will not stop them from being able to work together, communicate, and have all of that kind of relationship after the show, because, you know, it happened and this was months ago, and hopefully by this point, you know, people are able to move on. I want to say I am thankful to all of you for watching Unapologetically. Get your note putty. This is the red one if you haven't. And thank you so much for coming to this channel, because without you, I wouldn't do these videos. And I'm not gonna lie, I just yesterday was somewhere and somebody was like, oh my God, Unapologetically. And they came to me. And so those are the moments that make me keep doing these videos, even when it aggravates me by no end on social media, when people just have this idea in their mind of what I should do or who I should be and blah, blah, blah. And it annoys me, if y'all cannot tell. And I'm sorry if that came through at parts through this video, because I think people in their mind are like, oh my God, Candy assistant, blah, blah, blah. I am the general manager of Candy's company. I'm not her assistant. I don't just sit around and go get her water. Like, I handle business. And if I have never said anything that may seem confident or cocky, I will say this, and I will stand on this. You might want to get you a me, because if you got 5 employees, I bet you the one of me runs circles around all of them. Because you won't find many who can rock this shit and who can handle their business and who know how to do what I do like I do. So, in your opinion, you may not like me at all, and that is okay. Everybody does not have good taste. But just know, I am not the person that you think you have known for 13 years. I am not Candy's assistant, and I don't just sit around and go get water. I handle business. So if you would like to do business with me, you can go to any one of my websites, the New Meaning brand or my Right Hand Business Solutions, because I do have businesses that offer seminars. We offer payroll solutions and a variety of other things that you can do business with me, because I have businesses. But I do not and will not be the person that allows you to put me in a box of who you thought I was from 15 years ago, because that person is gone. So, nope, I'm not him. And until you understand that, you don't understand me. This is the latest episode and review of Unapologetically, and everybody that is watching, that follows, that subscribe, thank y'all so much. And I'm sorry if I had to get some stuff off my chest, but I was aggravated when I saw some of them tweets. Thank y'all, and continue to watch.